I'm Michelle Block, I work at the third floor, and I'm a Previs supervisor. Previs is basically a pre-production sort of methodology that we have. Basically, it's computer animating sequences before they're filmed. So we can go in, liaise with art departments, directors, camera crew, VFX, put it all together, come up with an amazing sequence, and then it can be shown on to everyone else in production, and then they can utilise that to use as a tool and a guideline for creating shots and shooting later on. As the industry sort of advances, technology advances, we're sort of finding that they need to have information, and so Previs encapsulates a lot of different things. Previs is not just computer animating a sequence, it's taking that through, breaking it down into the technical components of how we're going to shoot this, where are we going to shoot this, what methodologies are we going to use, what cameras are we going to use. We can also use virtual production techniques as well. We can feed our animation through to virtual production, so they can be used with virtual cameras or as a simulcam on-set comp with CG elements, creatures or environments that can be seen by the camera crew as they're shooting, so they're not looking into space. They know exactly what they're filming and they can frame up accordingly, and it sort of creates a smoother pipeline between pre-production and post, because all these things can just be taken through and things are sort of tied down more. So that's sort of what we provide. We start with storyboards, and then we integrate all the elements from different departments, whether it's art department with their set designs, or whether it's concept artists designing creatures. We put that all together, and we create the shots before they are shot. And Previs is adhered to so closely on set, and often say using the pre-production techniques, we can use motion control to actually recreate exactly the camera moves that we had in the Previs. So we really are sort of the behind the scenes guys that are actually coming up with all this stuff, in conjunction with directors, because the Previs is the time where it's the creative part where you can quickly go ahead, put together a sequence, try stuff out, and just be as outrageous as possible before you're sort of grounded in reality as to, oh my god, we have to shoot this, and how much is it going to cost? So it's just sort of it's that imaginative sort of part of things that really sort of pushes a film through and guides it through into the sort of post and final. The director might absolutely love the Previs. He's worked a lot to define his visualization of what he wants his film to look like and how he wants it to be shot. But then it also works with, in terms of visual effects and the practicality side of things, where some stuff is just so crazy that they have to really nail it down and plan it to the nth degree to actually shoot it and achieve what they want to shoot. So it's a matter of the director's vision as well as practicalities and the physical shooting. So that's the sort of why we see things that are so comparative between the Previs and the final product. As a Previs artist, you really have to be a master of many talents. You can't just be an animator. You have to be able to, use cameras, create sequences, and just have a really good idea of how film works, what makes a good sequence. You have to be able to do modelling, you have to be able to possibly do comping, to do tracking. Our artists are expected to do all these things probably and more, because it's not just animating and creating a pretty picture. We then go through and do tech viz. They have to understand what are different cameras, what's motion control, how is this going to be filmed. They have to have an understanding of the physical way things are shot to keep things in reality. And then we also have to go through and do post viz, where we're tracking plates, we're comping, and we're doing all of that. So if you can show you have that range of skills, then that's going to be so much better than just being able to animate, because animators quite often they can only do one thing, and that's not what we're after. We're after people who can really sort of see the bigger picture and can have a much wider range of skills. Previs encompasses so many different things, and it's when I started, I was just an asset builder, and my first job, I didn't even know what Previs was when I went for the interview, and so it was a very steep learning curve. But it's something that has grown, and with sort of new technology that's coming up now, there are roles in Previs that didn't exist when I started, especially with the virtual production side of things. It's forever growing based on technology. So in 5 years' time, there's probably going to be jobs out there that don't exist today. So it's sort of just keep your mind open and just try different things. Technology is going to obviously play a more prominent role in any filmmaking, definitely. And so I think it's, if people can get a really good understanding of that, then that's going to be great. Using virtual reality, virtual production methodologies to go through and shoot things. We're still retaining the old skills, but we're applying them to different things. So it's old meets new. You still have to have people that can animate stuff really cool. You're still going to have just the general things that you'd normally do as a Previs artist. But I think that's just going to sort of expand. And so I think for people to be more competent with understanding in virtual reality and virtual production, I think that's probably the direction things are heading. All the shows we've been doing in the last couple of years, we've been incorporating virtual production methods in these shows, and it's, if it's virtual creatures or characters interacting with actors live on set, or say, cameramen just framing up on CG environments and doing that, or there's so many different methods of doing stuff, with virtual camera use. It's an open end. There's just so many tools now that can be utilised in filmmaking.